There is a Dharma that is not carved in stone, but is lived in the quiet moments of exchange. A path that teaches letting go, not as surrender, but as the highest form of strategy. The world tells you to grasp, to hold, to prove your worth in the blinding light of the present moment. But the wise know that the greatest treasures are not won. They are grown in the dark, fertile soil of non-attachment. What if true power was found not in what you gain, but in what you willingly release? Welcome to Inner Moonlight, where there are truths that society doesn't want you to know. We begin on this path, this quiet rebellion against the clamor of the world. The first step is to unlearn the most basic lesson we were ever taught, that to win, you must never lose. From our first breath, we are instructed to clench our fists. Clench them around toys, around grades, around promotions, around the fragile idea of who we are. A clenched fist can hold what it has, but it can receive nothing new. It can strike, but it cannot welcome. This is the posture of the world, a stance of constant anxious defense. It is a life spent guarding a small, barren plot of land, terrified of losing a single stone, while a vast, fertile kingdom waits just beyond the fence. The path of wisdom asks you to do the opposite. It asks you to open your hand, not in defeat, but in offering. This is the principle of yielding willingly, and it is the key to unlocking a different kind of reality. To yield is not to be weak. It is to be like water. Water, the softest thing in the world, can carve canyons through the hardest rock. It does not fight the obstacle. It flows around it, embracing it, and continues on its journey, its power undiminished. The person who must win every small argument, who must be seen as the smartest in the room, who cannot bear the slightest public inconvenience. They are like a frantic wave crashing against a cliff. All noise, all spray, all fury, signifying nothing but a loss of their own energy. They are brittle. They can be broken. To yield willingly is a conscious action, a quiet declaration of strength. It is paying for the coffee and not mentioning it. It is letting someone else take credit for a small idea that was yours. It is absorbing a minor, unintentional slight without the need for correction or revenge. On the surface, in the calculus of the ego, these are all losses. You have given something, time, money, status, and received nothing visible in return. The world watching this might call you a fool. But the world only sees the surface of the river. It does not understand the deep, powerful current beneath. This action is the planting of a karmic seed. Karma is not a cosmic judge handing out rewards and punishments. It is the simple, incorruptible law of the universe. Every cause has an effect. When you plant a cause of aggression, you will harvest an effect of conflict. When you plant a cause of ego, you will harvest an effect of isolation. But when you willingly, consciously plant a cause of yielding, of non-resistance, of generosity with face and status, you are planting a seed in the richest, most fertile soil imaginable. What grows from such a seed? Not the fleeting, thorny weed of public applause, something far more valuable. You harvest trust. When people sense that you are not in competition with their ego, their own defenses lower. They are not afraid of you, so they do not need to deceive you. You harvest space. By not fighting for every inch of ground, you create a clearing where real opportunities, real collaborations, can quietly take root. You harvest peace. The energy once spent on guarding your reputation, on calculating every social move, is now free. It becomes a reservoir of calm within you. This is the unseen harvest, the private fortune. Think of the wise farmer. He does not clutch his most precious seed in his hand, showing it to everyone and demanding that they admire it. He knows that a seed held in the light will never grow. He must give it to the darkness. He must lose it to the soil, trusting in a process he cannot see. He relinquishes control, and in that act of surrender, he enables a future of abundance. The one who is afraid to lose the seed is the one who will surely starve. This is not a call to be a doormat. It is a call to be a master strategist of the soul. It is the recognition that the most important battles are not fought with clenched fists and loud voices. They are won with an open hand and a quiet mind that understands the flow of things. It is knowing when to be the rock and when to be the water that flows around it. And in this world of sharp edges and brittle egos, the water will always, eventually, find its way to the sea. The first step is to simply open your hand and let the seed of a small loss fall to the ground. Trust the darkness, trust the silence. The harvest is already on its way. The harvest is already on its way. And what is the first fruit that grows from this silent, fertile soil? It is not something for you, not at first. It is a change in the air around you. It is a calming of the storm in the minds of others. For you have deployed the most powerful and misunderstood of all spiritual tools, the skillful use of emptiness. We live in a world of ghosts, the hungry ghosts of ego and ambition that haunt every interaction. When you walk into a room, you are not just meeting people, you are meeting their fears, their insecurities, their unspoken hunger for validation. And when they perceive in you a light of success, of intelligence, of peace, it often casts a shadow in their own heart. That shadow is envy. Envy is the great poison of connection. It is a subtle static that hums beneath every conversation, distorting every word. It is a warped mirror in which the other person can no longer see you, but only a reflection of their own perceived lack. They may smile, they may agree, they may praise you, but beneath the surface, a part of their mind is now unconsciously invested in your failure. It needs you to stumble, to have a flaw, to be brought down a notch, so that their own feeling of inadequacy can be soothed. In this state, true collaboration is impossible. True friendship is impossible. You are not a partner, you are a threat. So how do you neutralize this poison? You do not fight it. Fighting envy with your own ego is like trying to put out a fire with oil. You do not argue, you do not defend, you do not display your brilliance more brightly to prove your worth. You do the opposite. You offer the thirsty ghost of their ego nothing to grasp. You become, in your presentation, skillfully empty. This is not the emptiness of nihilism or despair. It is the strategic, compassionate emptiness of a cloud, a still lake, a clear blue sky. It is the art of having but not showing, of knowing but not performing. Think of it this way. The hook of another's envy needs something to catch on. It needs the sharp edge of arrogance, the rough texture of a boast, the protruding nail of a complaint. When you present a surface that is polished and smooth, the hook finds no purchase. It slips off harmlessly. When you let the small error pass, when you attribute a good idea to the group instead of yourself, when you listen more than you speak, you are polishing that surface. You are not negating your own value. You are simply making it unassailable to the petty grappling hooks of the ego. You are practicing a form of spiritual aikido, using the energy of their potential aggression to create a state of peace. A fortress with high walls, sharp towers, and barred gates screams to the world, "I have treasure inside that is worth stealing." It invites a siege. But a temple with no walls, with its gates thrown open to all, confuses a conqueror. It appears to have nothing to defend, and its very openness becomes its greatest defense. Be the temple, not the fortress. When you empty yourself of the need to protect your own importance, you become disarmingly powerful. Others approach not with weapons of envy, but with hands open in curiosity. This is how true connection is born. It is born in the space you create when you remove your ego from the equation. When another person is not subconsciously battling you, they are free to finally meet you. Trust is the natural flower that grows in a field cleared of the weeds of fear. This is the real transaction. You pay with the counterfeit currency of public pride, and in return, you receive the gold of genuine human warmth. It is the deepest form of respect, for it acknowledges the fragile, frightened heart within others and chooses, with wisdom and grace, not to wound it further. You simply create a quiet, empty space and invite them in. When you create this quiet, empty space, you will begin to notice something remarkable. You will start to see people not for the masks they wear, but for the energy they carry. And in this new, clear light, two figures emerge from the crowd, two archetypes who walk the earth seeking power. They are the clever man and the master, and learning to tell them apart is a matter of spiritual survival. The clever man is intoxicating at first. He moves with a quick, nervous energy. His eyes dart, always calculating, always assessing. His mind is a glittering machine, and he makes sure you see the gears turning. He is quick with a joke, sharp with a critique, and armed with an endless supply of facts and figures. He performs his intelligence like a street magician performs a card trick, with flourish, with speed, and with a desperate need for your applause. When you speak with him, you feel you are in a fencing match. Every word is a parry, every silence a strategic pause before a thrust. He is impressive, and he is utterly, completely trapped. His cleverness is his cage. He is a prisoner of his own reputation for being smart. He is addicted to the small, immediate victory, the final word, the witty retort, the successful negotiation of a trivial point. These are the crumbs he survives on, mistaking them for a feast. His mind is a whirlwind of constant motion, a frantic hummingbird beating its wings 1,000 times a minute just to stay in the same place. He cannot tolerate silence, because in the silence he would be forced to feel the vast, hollow emptiness that all his frantic motion is designed to conceal. He is not a man of substance. He is a man of dazzling surfaces. And then there is the master. You might not even notice him at first. He does not glitter. He hums with a quiet, grounded energy. He may even seem simple, a little slow. He does not volunteer his opinion. He does not rush to fill a silence. He asks simple questions. He listens with a stillness that can feel unnerving in its depth. This is not the stillness of ignorance, but the stillness of a mind that is not at war with itself. He has nothing to prove to you, because his own worth is not a subject of debate in his own soul. He is not performing. He simply is. This is the manifestation of a mind unchained from ego. The master is not attached to the idea of being smart. Because he has let go of that need, he is free to pursue something far greater, wisdom. While the clever man is focused on the movement of a single, brilliant pawn, the master sees the entire board. His silence is not empty, it is full of observation. He is like a great ancient tree. On the surface, its growth is imperceptible. There are no sudden, flashy movements. But beneath the earth, its roots are sinking deeper, anchoring it with unshakable power. The clever man is a firework, a brilliant momentary flash that leaves behind only smoke and the memory of a loud noise. Here, then, is the truth you must carry with you. If you can easily see a person's cleverness, they are not a master of the game. If you walk away from a conversation feeling impressed but slightly exhausted, as if you've just finished a performance, you have met a clever man. His energy takes, it does not give. But if you walk away from an interaction feeling calmer, clearer, and more seen than when you began, you have been in the presence of a master. His energy grounds you. He doesn't need to win a point with you because he is not playing your game. He is playing a much longer, much deeper one. One whose prize is not the admiration of others, but the quiet, unshakable substance of reality itself. To play for the prize of reality itself, you must first have the courage to look at it without flinching. And the first, most fundamental truth of our existence, the truth that underpins every market, every relationship, every silent beat of your own heart, is that life involves suffering. This is not a curse. It is not a punishment. It is a diagnosis. The first noble truth of the Buddha is simply this: there is a quality of unsatisfactoriness, of discomfort, of sorrow woven into the very fabric of being. We are born into a world of friction and impermanence. To wish for a life of perfect, uninterrupted smoothness is to wish for the ocean to be without waves. It is a beautiful fantasy, and it is the most dangerous form of delusion. The person who dedicates their life to avoiding all discomfort, who flinches from every small apparent loss, is not building a fortress. They are building a house of glass in a world where stones will inevitably fall. They believe that by sidestepping every puddle, they can avoid the rain. But the great storm of life comes for everyone. There is no escaping it. The only choice you have is whether you will face it with the strength of a deeply rooted oak or the fragility of a sheltered sapling that has never known the wind. These small sorrows, these apparent losses we have been exploring, they are the wind, they are the training. Embracing them willingly is the only way to prepare for the great, unavoidable sorrows that life will deliver. It is the spiritual equivalent of a vaccine. You invite a small, controlled measure of the disease into your system to build the antibodies that will save you from the real plague. The pinprick of the needle is a small sorrow, but it grants you immunity from a great calamity. The person who refuses the needle out of a fear of its small pain is the one who will be consumed when the pestilence arrives. What are these chosen sorrows? They are the discomfort of admitting you are wrong when your ego screams for you to be right. They are the sting of apologizing first. They are the financial loss of being generous when you could have been merely transactional. They are the burn in your muscles when you choose the difficult, meaningful task over the easy, empty one. Each of these moments is a small death to the ego, and each death makes you more alive, more resilient, more real. You are allowing the non-essential parts of you to be chipped away, revealing the unshakable core beneath. The world of ambition, of making a living, of striving, it is a world of competition. It is, in its rawest form, a battle. You cannot participate in a battle and expect to never be wounded. The person who believes they can, who uses clever tricks and shallow schemes to avoid every blow, is the most foolish of all. The universe always balances its books. A debt of pain, once incurred, must be paid. And the price of avoiding small necessary dues today is a crippling, catastrophic bill that will come due tomorrow. This is the great calamity that awaits the fragile soul. The sudden collapse of a business because its leader could not weather early criticism. The desolation of a life with no true friends because one was never willing to be vulnerable or make a sacrifice. The utter shattering of the spirit when a real, undeniable failure occurs because it has never been tested by smaller ones. It is the final, horrifying realization that in the effort to lose nothing, you have failed to build anything of worth. You have not lived. You have merely survived in a sterile room of your own making, while the raw, beautiful, and difficult world passed you by. Do not be afraid of the small sorrows. Welcome them. Use them. Let them carve you into a vessel strong enough to hold the vast, deep ocean of a real life. You have learned to endure the wind. You have allowed the small sorrows of life to carve you into a vessel of profound and quiet strength. But this strength is not an end in itself. Its purpose is not merely to endure the darkness, but to allow you to finally open your eyes and see within it. For the fruit of all this yielding, all this emptiness, all this patient acceptance of discomfort is the greatest prize of the path. Right vision. It is the ability to look upon the world and see it, at last, as it truly is. Right vision is the first step on the Buddha's noble path, but it is also the culmination of our journey here. It is the polishing of the mind's mirror. After scraping away the grime of ego, the smudges of envy, and the distortions of fear, the surface is finally clear. And in this reflection, the world separates into two distinct forms, the bait and the harvest. The bait is everything that glitters. It is the immediate, intoxicating pleasure. It is the quick profit, the applause of the crowd, the flattering comment, the momentary thrill of being proven right. The bait is what the clever man lives for. It is seductive, it is easy, and it is an illusion. It is a beautiful, vibrant flower with no root system. It will dazzle for a day and be withered by evening. It is a fisherman's lure, designed to hook the hungry and drag them from their depths. To the unawakened eye, the bait looks like winning. But with right vision, you see it for what it is, a distraction designed to keep you from the real prize. The harvest is the true fruit of your labor. It is quiet, substantial, and slow to ripen. It is the deep trust of a lifelong friend, the unshakable foundation of a business built on integrity, the profound peace of a mind at ease with itself, the wisdom that can only come from experience. The harvest has no immediate glamour. It is the result of seeds planted long ago and tended to with patience in the dark. It is the great tree that grew from the tiny seed you were once willing to lose to the soil. The world, obsessed with the flower, rarely has the patience to wait for the fruit. But the master knows the fruit is the only thing that provides real nourishment. This is where we must understand the nature of desire. A shallow reading of the path might suggest that all desire is wrong. This is untrue. The master who builds an empire, the sage who seeks enlightenment, they are filled with a tremendous, powerful desire. But there are two kinds. There is craving, the desperate, anxious thirst for the bait. This is the energy of the hungry ghost, never satisfied. Then there is aspiration, the deep, calm, and wholesome will to achieve a worthy goal. This is the desire for the harvest. Right vision is what allows you to distinguish between the two. It grants you the clarity to harness the immense power of your own desire and aim it like a perfectly drawn arrow, not at the fleeting shadow, but at the heart of what is real and lasting. You cultivate this vision by slowing down, by looking beneath the surface of every offer, every relationship, every opportunity. You ask yourself, what is the seed being planted here? Is it a seed of ego or of substance? Is it a seed of connection or of transaction? Does it grow into something that will nourish me and others, or something that will wither and leave the ground barren? This is the ultimate power, not just to endure the world, but to see its inner working so clearly that you can act in perfect harmony with its laws. You no longer hope for a good harvest. You walk with the quiet confidence of the farmer who knows with absolute certainty what he has planted. You have looked past the veil of illusion, and now you are free to cultivate a world of substance. The world is loud, so you learned the power of silence. The world is sharp, so you learned the grace of being smooth. The world is frantic, so you learned the patience of the waiting earth. They will reach for the shimmering flower, always the flower. But you will walk on, your hands full of soil and seeds. You know the truth that a garden is not a gift. It is a choice, made again and again in the quiet of the long seasons, and your harvest will be real.